Alright, I wanted to take a second to show you on a Ford Taurus X. So mine's a 2008, they also came in a 2009. Replacing the motor mounts on these because the motor was vibrating and just sounded awful. So when you started the engine it would just vibrate. You could feel it in the dash. The motor was moving when you'd shift from neutral to reverse. Anyway, decided we needed to replace the motor mounts, so wanted to show you the location of where they're at. This is the one that attaches to the transaxle. So it attaches to the frame here and then attaches to the transmission. It's underneath the battery, so you have to remove the battery, you have to remove the battery tray. I removed the air intake as well, and then removed the air intake ducting just to get it out of the way so it had more room. Honestly, it just takes a couple extra seconds to take it off, so it gives you a lot more room. Wanted to show you the piece. So all of this rubber on mine had rotted out completely, which is no huge surprise. I'll show you that in a second. So there's 4 bolts that hold this piece to the chassis, and then there are 4 bolts that hold this to the transaxle, and then 1 large bolt that goes through all of it together. So these can actually, mine came out in 2 pieces. So you've got this piece and you've got this piece. You can take them out separately if you'd like. So it's pretty easy to see these 2 bolts, one here and then one back here. But then there's actually 2 more up underneath here that you'll have to find. And I believe they're 13 millimeter. And so I had to use a ratcheting box end wrench in order to get to those. And then I think these here are 13 millimeter as well, deep sockets. They came out pretty easily. So once you get it dismantled, take out the pieces and you can replace it. Not too terribly difficult. The other one, which is over here, you can see my hands on top of it here, my finger. That was a little bit of a bear to get out. You have to remove this reservoir, power steering reservoir, just to kind of get them out of the way so you have room to work. And then there are 4 bolts. You can see a few of them, a couple of them right there pretty easily. 1 and 2. And then there's a couple bolts here on this black piece on the top that kind of hold it to the motor. You can see the other 2 bolts that are back in here. And so the way mine came as a whole piece, but this piece up here, I think it's a knock sensor, I'm not sure, but that unbolts and then bolts onto the new one. You have to remove all of this, and then you actually have to remove, see if you can see this large bolt here, down kind of on the chassis. Right there, that is a bolt that has to come out, as well as those 2 that you can see down there. Those have to come out as well. Be very careful when you're removing them. I had to actually, tried to use an impact to take them out. I would not recommend that. It ended up melting the threads. They got really hot. I had to re-tap one of them in order to get the bolts to go back in. Not fun. So take your time, put some penetrating oil on there, let them sit for a few minutes or overnight, and life will be a lot easier. So again, not too terribly technically difficult to get these out. Once you get it out, it's kind of plug and play. There is a bolt on the underside of this. Once you get the 3 bolts, that one there, and this one here, and that one there, once you get those out, the whole piece can come out as one. And the mount here, there's a 1 bolt from the underside that holds it to the piece that you just took out with these 3 large bolts. So you gotta take it out, drive it in, and put it back in. The last motor mount is underneath, and you can see, let's see if I can get a different angle. Obviously I got 2 jacks here to support the engine. The last motor mount you can see is right there. You would think that's the easiest. There's 2 bolts, they're through bolts. You take them out. The problem is that back bolt, the one on the left that you see there, doesn't come out. It bumps into the exhaust. So you have to drop the exhaust. That's not fun because the studs on the exhaust are rusted and you can't really get the bolts off. So that's always a pain. Hopefully yours come off, put some penetrating oil on it and get it to come off. But you can see the stud on mine I broke, so I had to drill it out and put a new bolt on there. Not fun. So take your time, and you can see the other one that I did, you had to take this off as well. Not fun. So beware. Alright, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. I am not a mechanic, just a guy that likes to try to fix things myself. So if you have questions, shoot me a message and I'll see if I can help. Alright.